Okay, if you've been paying any attention to fashion lately, you have probably noticed it. There is a massive silver revival happening. But look, this is not about the modern minimalist stuff. We're talking about heritage jewelry, the ornate historical pieces that are making this huge comeback. So, what is it exactly? And why is everyone suddenly obsessed? Let's dive in.
I'm not kidding. It turns out your grandmother was a total trendsetter. All those intricate, maybe even slightly tarnished silver pieces that have been hiding away in family jewelry boxes for like decades, well, they are now at the absolute forefront of modern style. It's amazing. First up, let's talk about silver's sudden revival. We're going to look at how these incredible antique-inspired designs have basically jumped from dusty old shops right onto our social feeds, and why they're captivating a whole new generation. So, first things first, what do we even mean by heritage designs? Well, we're talking about jewelry that's inspired by really specific periods in art history. These aren't just, generic, old-looking pieces. They have these unique motifs and a style of craftsmanship that literally tells a story about the era they came from.
Right, so to really get this trend, you kind of need to learn the language of antique silver. So let's decode the key historical styles that are driving this whole comeback.
And we have to start with the big one, the Victorian era. This whole period, named after Queen Victoria, of course, was all about sentimentality, romance, and just unbelievably intricate detail. It's a style that is just loaded with emotion. And what's so cool here is how you can spot the Victorian look. You'll see tons of ornate engraving and motifs pulled straight from nature. We're talking flowers, birds, even snakes, which, by the way, symbolized eternal love. Everything had a secret meaning, and the pieces themselves, they just feel heavy, substantial. This was jewelry that was designed to be treasured forever. Okay, after that, we get Art Nouveau. And this style was a complete and dramatic rebellion against the stiff, formal designs of the Victorian era. It was all about embracing these natural, organic, flowing forms. It's really art for art's sake. The signs here are just unmistakable. You want to look for those famous whiplash curves, these long, flowing lines that kind of snap back on themselves. You'll see delicate insects, you'll see ethereal women with flowing hair, and a real emphasis on artistry and craftsmanship. It all has this dreamlike, beautiful quality. And then, bam, the world changes again. Welcome to the machine age, and with it, Art Deco. This style is all about modernism, it's about speed, glamour, and the excitement of this new industrial world. Just think The Great Gatsby, and you're there. The contrast with Art Nouveau, it could not be stronger. Art Deco just throws out all those organic curves and instead embraces these bold geometric shapes and really strong symmetrical lines. It's streamlined, it's glamorous, and it just perfectly captures that optimistic, roaring spirit of the 1920s.
So, okay, that's the what. We've seen the styles. But this brings us to the really big question, right? Why now? Why are designs that are literally 100 years old suddenly all over our feeds and in every cool jewelry collection? So let's unpack that. In this next section, we're going to explore the modern cultural forces that are making all this old silver feel so incredibly new again. It really boils down to three key things. We're talking about this quest for uniqueness, the massive appeal of sustainability, and, of course, the power of social media to amplify everything. First off, this quest for something unique. I mean, in a world of mass-produced fast fashion jewelry, a vintage piece has a real history. It has a soul. It's a one-of-a-kind statement that you just can't get off a rock. Second, and this is a huge one, sustainability. Choosing a pre-owned piece of jewelry is pretty much the ultimate form of recycling. It's this powerful and stylish rejection of our throwaway culture. And finally, social media has been a massive amplifier. Platforms like Instagram and Pinterest make it possible for some unique vintage find to be seen by millions. And that turns these distinct styles into something really aspirational and sought after. All right, so now you know what these styles look like and why they're so popular. Let's get practical. This is your official spotter's guide for identifying heritage silver when you're out there in the wild. A great way to train your eye is just to see the contrast. So on the left, you see the ornate, symbolic, complex world of a Victorian piece. And on the right, you've got that clean minimalism that's really dominated for the last few years. What heritage silver offers is this richness and detail that feels like a totally fresh, bold alternative to the simplicity we've all gotten so used to.
And here's your checklist. Look for tiny little stamps. Those are called hallmarks, and they can tell you where and when a piece was made. Look for tiny imperfections that show it was crafted by a real person's hands. And hey, don't be afraid of patina. That gentle tarnish is a sign of authentic age. And of course, keep your eyes peeled for those period-specific motifs we just talked about. So to wrap this all up, let's elevate the conversation a bit. Because this revival, it's really more than just a passing fashion trend. It's actually a reflection of our current cultural mood and what we value right now. Is this whole thing just a simple case of nostalgia? You know, a desire to look back at a supposedly simpler time? I think it's actually a little deeper than that. Ultimately, what this is a search for stories we can wear. In our digital, often really impersonal world, a piece of heritage silver is tangible history. It's a connection to craftsmanship, it's a connection to lives lived before ours, and to our own unique identity. So the return of heritage silver isn't just about aesthetics. It's a quiet statement. It's about our desire for uniqueness, for sustainability, and for meaning. It's about choosing jewelry that doesn't just decorate, but actually narrates. And that right there is a story worth telling.